their work in order to help the family pay the bills. His love of livestock made him a natural hire for the local auction house. He worked Tuesdays through Fridays, helping to prepare for and oversee the livestock auctions on Wednesdays and horse auctions on Fridays. Unfortunately, Edna knew that while he was happy to contribute to the family, John should have been the one to stay home, while his two younger brothers, Jonas and Jeremiah, should have been the ones to leave the farm and find employment elsewhere. But sometimes what should have been wasn't what actually happened. John glanced over her shoulder at her calendar. His eyes widened, and he whistled under his breath. "Overbooked again, eh?" Shutting the calendar, Edna pursed her lips, a feigned expression of irritation on her face. Truth be told, she could never be irritated with John. Of her 3 sons, John had always been her rock. Unlike Jonas and Jeremiah, John was sensible and responsible, a level-headed man with a righteous reputation and a strong faith in God. And of course, he was a man devoted to his family. The only problem was that his family consisted of his parents and brothers. Most of his friends had already settled down with children of their own now. It was high time for John to do the same. But he showed no inclination to court any of the Amish women in their church district. "Oh, you know me far too well, John Esh." The last thing she wanted to do was complain to John about her having taken on far too much work during the holiday season, because she'd had no choice. No sense in complaining about something she couldn't change. Standing up, she made her way toward the kitchen counter. "And it seems I'm far behind on making supper for you men." It was Tuesday, and she had promised the boys, for she always referred to Jonas and Jeremiah as the boys, steak and mashed potatoes for supper. They'd spent the day spreading manure in the fields, preparing the soil for next year's crops. With the weather turning crisp and cold, a hearty supper was definitely in order. "Need help?" Edna gave him a soft smile. "Nay, John, you relax a spell. Seems you've been working extra hard of late." She watched as he took a seat at the table and stretched out, his long legs crossing at the ankles. "Yeah, the auction house has been busier than usual. Reckon that's good. Lots of horses and livestock, even though it's nearly winter." "What about buyers?" He sighed and rubbed his eyes. "Yeah, plenty of those too." It broke Edna's heart to see him so tired. All he wanted was to work on the farm. But he'd never complained about having to find outside employment. If only Jonas and Jeremiah were inclined to do the same, she thought. Maybe then John could work on the farm year-round. "Reckon that's good, eh?" She hurried about the kitchen, trying to refocus her mind on supper, and not on how overbooked she was for the next 6 weeks leading up to Christmas. "They really need the help," John continued, but there was a forlorn undertone to his voice. He paused long enough for Edna to look at him. "Mayhaps that's what you need, Mom. Help." She smiled to herself. "I already told you I'm fine. Supper won't take but half an hour." "I meant real help. With your business." Not that again, she thought. She'd been struggling with so much for so long, and both John and her husband Elmer had been after her to hire someone to assist her with the meal preparations and serving the guests when they came. But she'd fought it. "And I already said I'd think about it," she said. The truth was that she had thought about it. Hiring help would cut into her profits, and they really needed every dollar. "You can't keep doing all these things by yourself," John retorted. "You work too hard, Mom."